What is up, humans of the cardboard? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we have a little video I want to put out there because I did my basic review of the new, or like, I guess, the TCG exclusive cards from Dawn of Majesty revealed yesterday, as well as the OCG imports. But among those TCG exclusives comes the very new archetype Beetroopers. And I gotta be honest, going into it, I kind of had low expectations. It's an insect archetype. Konami mentioned in its description when they announced it that it had battle phase shenanigans going on, which is, spoiler alert, like not a good sign. Like War Rocks have battle phase shenanigans and War Rocks are garbage. Sorry if you love War Rocks, it just is. But honestly, this archetype exceeded my expectations in every way. It really, really did. So today I'm going through all the reasons why. I don't know. I'm just going more in depth on like this archetype and why I think that the potential is like so like actually pretty nice here. And why I'm going to be picking up this wave of support immediately. So first and foremost, let's get into the cards, all right? We're going to skim through these real quick just so you have an idea of what we're looking at here for the archetype. We got 7 cards revealed. Not a ton, but a nice little start here. Of course, first is the Beetrooper Scout Buggy. When he's normal or special summoned, he can special summon a Beetrooper Scout Buggy. Unfortunately, it's not he didn't summon any Beetrooper out of the deck, only another copy of himself, but it is still 1 card link too, so it's a +1. We'll take it. Keep in mind also that a bunch of these cards have the stipulation that they lock you into insects while they're on the field, kind of like how the guard dragons do. Not the worst restriction to have, but it keeps you in insects pretty well. Next up is Beetrooper Scale Bomber. If any insect is normal or special summoned, this card can special itself from hand, and when a monster your opponent controls activates its effect, quick effect, you contribute an insect to destroy that monster. This is non-targeting, destroying a monster that's activating its effect on field. That's just a straight up disruption. It's not the best disruption in the world, but considering that it's combined with a pretty nice extender, we will take that all day. Next up, we have Beetrooper Sting Lancer. This card's really, really cool. I like the way they designed this. During the main phase, either main phase, as a quick effect, you can target an insect in your grave and any monster in your opponent's grave, special summon this card from the hand, and if you do, place both of those targeted monsters on the bottom of the decks. So that's really, really cool. Also, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can add a Beetrooper spell or trap from deck to hand. So this card gets you access to your spells and traps. It comes out of the hand pretty easily. You just have to put an insect in grave, and if your opponent has started to play, they'll put a monster in grave as well. Also gives you the ability to disrupt their graveyard while just getting him on the field. I think this card's pretty cool. The only downside about him is that he may be dead some turn ones, but you have other ways to get him out. We'll get to there. So those are the 3 main deck monsters that are there so far. Nothing too crazy, but very nice start there. You have Beetrooper Armor Horn. This card kind of reminds me of Farragut from Tri Brigade. Once per turn during your main phase, you can immediately, after this effect resolves, normal summon an insect monster. Just generically additional normal summon for an insect. Also, if it's engraved, you can banish 3 other insect monsters to special summon it, but it banishes itself when it leaves the field. But that's still a nice recovery effect. If you've already played, you have a bunch of useless insects engraved, why not just get a free link 2 back to the field? Pretty nice. Then we have Giant Beetrooper Invincible Atlas. This is your boss monster right now for the archetype. Takes any 2 or more insects. That's another thing. Both of these are just generically taking insect monsters. Really nice. While this link summon card has 3,000 or less attack, your opponent cannot target it with card effects, and it can't be destroyed by card effects. So 3,000, can't be targeted, can't be destroyed. Pretty good. Does lock into insects like some of the other cards do, but it has another effect where you can tribute an insect to activate one of these 2 last effects. You can either special summon a Beetrooper straight from the deck, like your guy who searches your spells and traps, or her to be a disruption, or him, which will then special summon another copy of him. So pretty good options there. And the other effect is he'll gain 2,000 attack until the end of the turn. So you can either make him 5,000, but he won't have his protection, or you can just summon a Beetrooper from the deck and he will maintain his protection. So pretty damn good. Pretty cool card, honestly. This card will be pretty good for the archetype, I think. Then we have, finish up with a spell and a trap. We have the field spell. It's pretty much Monster Reborn. Like, it's every turn. Target a Beetrooper engraved, special summon it. It can't attack this turn, and you lose life points equal to its original attack, but I'm honestly okay with that. It's not the best thing in the world that you lose those things, but considering this is a monster reborn every single turn and it stays on field, is pretty crazy. It also has a second effect where if any insect monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon a Bee Trooper token. It's just an insect earth level 3 1,000 token. That's pretty nice. I mean, that could easily come up. I like that it's any insect too, not just Bee Troopers. So yeah, very good card. And then we finish up with our counter trap. This is really nice. I'm glad we got something like this. So if your opponent activates a monster effect while you control a Bee Trooper, negate the activation and destroy it. Would have loved that this could also negate spells and traps, but monster is definitely the most important thing you want to be negating with counter traps, so we'll take it. And it has a really cool recursion effect where if you, during your end phase, if this card's in grave and you control an insect monster with 3,000 or more attack, you can banish an insect from grave to set this card. Very, very good. It just means you pretty much just want to end on your giant atlas, and on your end phase, you'll just get this card back. For free. It doesn't even banish itself when it leaves the field next or anything like that. And so you can pretty much do this every turn, assuming you just have a 3,000 attack insect on the field, which is really cool. So this deck definitely wants to play a control style, rotate this card like turn after turn, which is really good. Continue to use this boy to interrupt the grave, this one to interrupt their field. This guy just becomes a big, hard to deal with monster. And seems pretty good. So a lot of things going on right now, which takes me to my strong points. Okay, first and foremost, wow, I'm hearing a lot of noise upstairs. Anyway, first things first, all these cards are good. Like we just read through all these cards together. We skimmed through them really quick. Every single card here is like at least a 7 out of 10 for me. Maybe one of them's a 6 out of 10. Maybe it's buggy because he's like okay, but he is still Link 2, and like the Link 2 gets you an additional normal summon, so you're already getting into something decent. So I think that's already call for it to be like a 7 out of 10. So yeah, you're 7 for 7 on solid cards, right? You've got multiple forms of disruption so far, and that's something definitely to hang your hat on, is that every card is actually pretty quality. Number 2, this archetype generically works with any insect, anything. Now, I'm not saying there's a ton of different options here. Like, it almost reminds me of Tri-Brigade, but not as potent, okay? Tri-Brigade really worked with multiple different things. We've seen Ancient Warriors be successful. We've seen Zodiac be very successful. We've seen Lyralus be successful. And there's probably other ones, too, you could look into. I know there's like Fire Fist variants that have had like cool little Fire Fist engines that are actually pretty, you get decent value off them, right? So like, I don't think it's quite as potent as that, and maybe that's also just because this archetype synergizes with only insects, whereas Tri-Brigades synergize with anything Beast Warrior, or Tri-Beast, so they have like a bigger pool of cards to like mess around with. But still, you can't understate the fact that this works with anything insect. Whether it's stuff we look into the past and see what we have access to, and it actually seems pretty good, or it's stuff we get going forward. We have the new Inzektor card that's coming, and any other insect archetype they want to drop on us going into the future. This archetype could really synergize with them. I know people have already been talking about Battle Wasp potentially. And like I said, Inzektors, we'll see what happens with their card there. If it's really good, maybe it could tie them together. I think it'd be a perfect opportunity for Konami to say, hey, that new archetype, you know how they do that all the time where they're like, oh, this card works perfect with this stuff that just came out in that previous set a couple months ago, so pick that up as well. You know, they do that all the time. This would be a perfect situation for them to make an awesome Inzektor card and then tie it back to this set and say, grab your Bee Troopers. So that's really nice. The synergy right there is really, really nice. A lot of these cards just work generically with any insects, and that definitely opens the door for a lot of future stuff. Thirdly, the Plunder Patrol phenomenon, not even necessarily Plunder Patrols, but Plunder Patrols, War Rocks, hopefully not mutants. Hopefully we can not get the mutant treatment here. What I mean by that is Plunder Patrols got, I think, exactly 7 cards in their first wave and got exactly 7 cards in their second wave. War Rocks pretty similarly got like 7 or 8, maybe even 9 cards in their first wave and got like another 5 or 6 cards. I don't even remember the exact number, but it's somewhere in that range. In the second wave, right? Like, could you, like, we got 7 cards this time. If we get another 6 or 7 next time, like, and they're still the same quality, this deck could play like right out of Burst of Destiny if that's the set they're going to throw 6 or 7 more TCG exclusives in that 20 you know, cluster portion of that set for us. That would be so cool. Also, the designs are amazing. Like, that's another thing. I don't know. I definitely get Tri-Brigade vibes here. Obviously, like I said, not as potent, but it does give me that vibe of like Tri-Brigade was there and we all kind of knew. I don't know if everybody knew, but I was always like, Tri-Brigade is going to be really good at some point. That mechanic is too good. And the potency kind of falls off here a little bit in this form that this deck doesn't have like that crazy mechanic where you're doing like insanely efficient link plays and like one card plays once you get like stuff set up in grave for the rest of the duel. We don't necessarily have that, but we do have nice synergy here. We do have some good cards, and I'm excited to see where it goes. So those are the three biggest points. And I guess the fourth point that I would say, like, why you should probably pick this up is it should be pretty affordable. I mean, looking at these cards, he's a secret rare, but he's also part of the sneak peek. So I think he'll have a lower rarity if you want to get him there as well. But he's also not the best card. He actually might be the, I don't want to say worst card, but the least good card out of all the cards here. Funny enough. So you could almost throw him, like, he won't be an expensive secret rare. I can guarantee you that. This looks like either a common or a super. Ultra here, so like one ultra, there's a super, there's an ultra, there looks like a super, and a common, right? So 2 ultras, 1 secret, but this is an archetype that doesn't do anything yet. As if there's one thing we know, it's for archetypes that don't do anything yet, they will be super, super cheap. So it should be very easy to get these cards scooped up out the gate here. I'm telling you right now, I am scooping them because I think the potential is there. I love their designs. Their designs are so sick. They're like little warriors riding on like giant bugs. And I know some people don't like bugs, but I think this is about as cool as you can make bugs look in this game. And Zectors is right there. They're kind of like in that same vibe. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Yeah, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this archetype, where you think it can go, if you think the potential is as high as I'm talking it up. I'm not saying it's going to be meta one day, guaranteed, like Tri-Brigade was, but I do think there's good potential for this to at least be a rogue deck, come Insector stuff, come another Insect archetype, come 7 more Beetrooper cards. I think the potential is pretty solid, and they did a great job really blowing away my expectations, to be honest. So good job, Konami. Good on you. But that's going to do it from here today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more discussion videos like this one in the future. And like I said, leave me some thoughts in the comments on your initial reactions and thoughts on Beetroopers, their potential going forward, and all that stuff. Whether you want to pick them up or not, I'd love to hear your thoughts there. So thank you again. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.